Okay, just briefly before I get into the video proper, this video is sectioned off. The way I've sectioned it is I've put it by move as the starter, like the move is the starter of the combo, and then it goes from there, and I go through all the normals, special moves, so on and so forth, level 2 stuff, and yeah, that's how it's sectioned. So if you need any help, feel free to, or you don't understand something fully, feel free to ask in the comments and I'll do my best to explain. But otherwise, if you think you know any really good optimal combos that you don't see in this video, also feel free to post them in the comments. Alright, the long-awaited combo video is here. Alright, in this video I'm going to go over all of Ed's like optimal combos, right? That'll include very common combos you see all the time, as well as some situational combos that you probably haven't seen before, but in the situations they're used, they're the optimal way to play, or they have very specific uses that are worth knowing the combos for, right? I'm not going to go over every single possible combo that Ed can do, because I mean, we'll be here all day. This character has so much he can do in combos, and I'm not going to show you something like, just because you can do that doesn't mean you need to know that you can do that in a video like this, right? But anyway, as you can see, I have a input display thing here, as well as the inputs on the left. Basically, I know you guys are smart, and you know this is a light blitz, you know this is a medium blitz, you know this is a heavy blitz just from looking at it, right? That's why one of the reasons I haven't done annotations, right? If you, for whatever reason, have trouble understanding what's being done in a combo when it comes to what buttons were pressed and what inputs were done in that, I recommend go to the part you're having trouble understanding, put the video speed to 0.25, like the slowest speed, and just look at the input reader, and or look at my inputs on the left, and you'll be able to easily work it out. But I don't think anyone's really gonna have to do that anyway, because Ed's moves are pretty obvious, I feel, visually. Anyway, let's get into the video. Alright, meterless light combos. First of all, Ed can get 3 jabs in his combos. As you know, if you're familiar with the character even a little bit, his jabs don't have very good range, as you can see. But if you're close enough, you can get 3 jabs, and your go-to meterless ender is this, which you can follow up with Kill Rush for your knockdown pressure, right? And this also goes into level 3, right? Now, when it comes to doing your jabs, all your jabs link into each other, right? So what I mean is you can do like this, right? Why would you do this? This is, you do a crouching light in the middle because it catches people. Some people will wake up and they'll block the first hit crouching, and then they'll try to walk out of your pressure, right? So this is a good way to catch them walking out, and you can hit confirm it on the second hit like this, right? You can also just do this as well. Oop. Like this as well. The most important thing about when you're doing your light strings is you always want to end on a standing jab, because standing jab is your cancelable light. So this is your meterless route. Alright, when it comes to spending meter on light combos, the first one I will go over is actually a very niche combo that I've never actually used in a real game, but it is technically optimal in certain situations, and that is lights into ODDP. This does more damage than if you cancel into a drive rush and do a drive rush combo for 3 bars, and this only costs 2 bars. So there are situations where this is your optimal damage route to get a kill, while burning yourself out. But like I said, very niche optimization there. Anyway, your usual meter spend in this situation will often be into OD Blitz. And one thing about this is you can cancel into level 3. The important thing about this combo into level 3 is do not do it on the second hit, or the last hit I should say, because your level 3 will whiff. If you like this, right? This will whiff, right? You have to do it on the end of his kind of barrage before he does the big hit. As you can see. But more importantly, this combos into his level 2, right? And I'm not going to do level 2 combos here. I'll save that for the end of the video. But all your, well, like 95% of your level 2 combos come from heavy blitz. Sorry, OD blitz. So this is very important to know. And another important factor of OD blitz, we just go to the corner really quick. You'll see on knockdown, it is plus 42 advantage for Ed. What that means is you get a safe jump from this move, right? So that's a safe jump. If he did a wake up dragon punch there or a super or anything, I would have still blocked it even though I pressed, right? Plus 42 is the golden number for safe jumps. Now we're going to go over if you're only spending 3 bars of drive, right? 3 bars of drive, what you can get off of that. Mid-screen, you're going to be doing something like this. Right? That'll give you your Oki and that, good damage, so on and so forth. If you want to level 1 off this, you know, you go like this. And level 3, just like this, right? In the corner, these combo routes start to change a bit. First of all, if you just want the damage in the corner, it's like this. But if you want a safe jump, which I recommend doing this one especially, you want this. As you can see, that's plus 42 for minimal damage loss, and it gives you a safe jump. If you want level 1, you go like this. Right, and obviously, if you want level 3, you go like this. If you're going for a full 6 bar spend in this situation, there's one important factor you have to take into account, and that is if your opponent is standing or crouching. If you are willing to look and confirm that mid-combo, then this is the combo that you'll do, and this is the optimal combo that you want, right? You know, that will go into level 3, obviously. Right, you can do, if you want the damage, you can do this. And obviously, you can go into level 1 like that. Alright. One other part of this, in the corner, this is a kind of niche optimization, but it does come up a lot. This is how you can combo into level 2 in this situation. Right. I know I said I'd save level 2 combos for the end of the video, which I am, but I mean that one I feel is not as much of a level 2 combo as the ones I'm going to do at the end. Okay. Anyway, back to this routing. If they are crouching, this combo won't work. Let me show you. You see this button whiffs, right? So if they're crouching, you can do this combo instead. And if you don't want to confirm that they're crouching, you can just always do this combo. It's just a bit of damage loss is the only difference, right? This will go into all the same routes as I've already shown with this route. And yeah, you just replace the standing heavy kick with a standing heavy punch into crouching medium kick, and then the rest of the combo is the same. Alright, now let's get into counter hit combos. What can your jabs combo into if you get a counter hit with them? There's only one real answer, and that is they combo into this button, right? So for example, if you wanted to go into super meterless, you would go like this, right? Into level 3. If you want the best meterless damage and Oki, this is what you do, right? Like I said, this is more so for comboing into level 3, but it's also a lot easier. So if you find that easier, I recommend just doing this. But if you want to be completely optimal, this is what you do. Medium upper, right? And your crouching light punch is the same in this instance. It will combo into your crouching light kick, and it's the same combo rules that apply for this as well. When you're spending meter on this button, it generally, other than, like I said, other than being able to combo into medium upper now, it follows the same rules as your light punches for spending meter, right? You can do this. You could do this for the niche optimization. All the drive rush routes are the same that I've already just shown. So yeah, same thing applies here. Alright, next up we have punish counters. What can you get off a punish counter? The answer is you go straight into your medium target combo. Right? This is your best routing off of a punish counter jab. It works off this as well, works off your crouch light punch as well. And obviously, as you've already seen, you can do stuff like this. You know what I mean? You can do into level 3. You've already seen these combos when I talked about the drive rush stuff, right? But what else can you do, right? Another thing you can do is go into your crouching medium kick, which is less damage and all that, but it's possible. So you might be asking, but why do I need to know that, right? And the answer is very simple. There are ranges where the medium punch will whiff, right? That medium punch there will whiff and you won't hit. And that's why I have Bison here. I'm going to show you a common situation. Bison's heavy scissor kick is actually -4. It's not -5 like the other two. And in this case, look what happens if I try to do the usual punish counter combo as Ed. It whiffs, right? So what can I do instead? You see? This is why it's important to know combos like this, right? You can go into this, off of this, meterless, if that's what you wish to do. You can go, like I said, like this. You can go into this. You can go into a full drive rush combo like this. You know, the rest of the routing off that. You know. Oops. You can go like this. You can also do, oops, into your level 2 routing, alright? That's another thing you can do here. Which should bring me back actually to, as you know, this is what you do normally. What you can also do is obviously this, to get into your level 2s. Okay? One more important thing to note about this is this will only work from stand jab, okay? So if you're trying to do it this, it won't work because this is +7 total and this is an 8-frame move. Okay, now it's time to talk about drive rush. Now, the same combos I talked about when it comes to punish counters and that I will talk about when it comes to punish counters apply to drive rush, because a drive rush button on hit is +4 and a punish counter is also +4. So everything I just showed you will work like this, you know, even this, although I wouldn't be doing that as an optimal combo, but all these combo routes that applied to punish counter also apply here. But one important thing to note about Ed's drive rush here is that off of drive rush, he actually gets 4 jabs, which is very unique to Ed. And you might be thinking, why would I want to do 4 jabs? And I will do my best to explain that. First, let me just put Bison on crouch and block all. Not only on hit can he get 4 jabs, but if they're crouching, he also gets 4 jabs here. Now, why is this important? The reason this is important is because everyone is very, very conditioned to block 3 jabs and then consider pressing a button, because 3 jabs is the length of pretty much everyone else's jab strings at most, sometimes 2 jabs. So once they block 3 jabs, there's a good chance that they will press something, and in this situation, they will get counter hit by the 4th jab, and then, you know, that's how it is. It's a safer frame trap that people aren't used to, aren't expecting, and yeah, that's why it can be pretty useful. The next thing I'm going to talk about is potential combos for if you actually counter hit someone from a drive rush. Now, as you know, as I already said, I should say, if you hit someone with your drive rush button, it's +4 extra frames than usual, right? And a counter hit is +2 extra frames. So in total, you get +6 extra frames if you counter hit someone with your drive rush. Now, why would you counter hit drive rush someone? Why would that happen? The answer is very simple. If they try to check your drive rush, but their check gets stuffed because you were too fast, they're going to get counter hit. So you're going to be +6. And what can you do in these situations? The first thing, if you're pretty confident they're going to get counter hit, and you want to kind of half commit to a big kind of combo, you can actually do this. That'll be your okay, right? Yeah, it'll go into stand heavy punch. You are +10, and you can do different enders here as well. You know, damage, right? Oops. Corner carry and damage here as well for 3 bars. Oh, almost close enough for that one. If you're kind of close to the corner, like this, but not close enough for the full combo, you can do this. Like this, you'll get the heavy upper in time for optimal damage, as well as you're getting good Oki because it's in the corner. If they're in the corner, you have a lot of different options, okay? That's great for 2 bars. I'll go into this combo when I get to stand heavy punch, because there's a bit more to this combo. But that's a great option there. If you are far enough away, let me try get this basing right for this. This will give you a safe jump for 3 bars, as well as great damage, right? These are a lot of your options off of heavy punch, and I have some spicier combos, but like I said, go to the stand heavy punch section to see these combo routes, okay? What else can you do? If you want to be able to hit confirm that you counter hit them, here's a very good option that you can do. You do this, okay? Right? And this way you'll be able to hit confirm if your combo is hitting, and when you see that this button hits, you can combo into target combo, for example. You can do, you know, into this. Those are your options, and they go into the target combo routes and such, which go to the sections for those, right? But yeah, if you get a counter hit, that's what you can do. And if you get a punish counter, I mean, it's essentially the same, right? It's just, you know, you can get that a lot easier. So yeah, but I mean, if you know you get a punish counter, a lot of the times you're just going to be doing something like this. Oops, what am I doing? This goes into this, you know, something like that. But you're going to be able to, like, you know, treat them. You're not really going to have too many situations where you're your dry rush jabbing into a punish counter and then converting off that hit specifically. And the combos are essentially the same regardless. Counter hit is the important part when it comes to dry rush jab. Okay, how about air juggles? This is a combo opportunity that jab is very good for in certain matchups. One good example, this applies to Akuma demon flip. If you are able to jab that out in the air, it also applies to Delsin teleports. If he teleports onto you and you jab him out of the air, this will apply. And another one, which I'm going to show, is Kami Hooligan. There are these certain moves, such as the ones that I just mentioned, that will give you a juggle state if you hit them out of the air that you can combo off of. So you can do stuff like this. Right? Now, what's optimal in this situation? The first thing you need to note is I'm not actually cancelling the jab into the special move, which you can if you want. But I believe you get more damage if you just do the link. I mean, that's how the combo system usually works. We can double check that, alright? 1, 3, 2, 0, and if I cancel it, oh, it's the same. Okay, it's the same, alright? But it's still easier to link it, right? Because it gives you more time to do the input. Yeah, this is optimal damage, meterless, obviously. If you want better Oki, you can go into blitz damage. You can do stuff like this. If you even want to, you know, go potentially into a modified version of a level 2 combo, you can do something like that. Very important to know these combos for certain matchups, especially Sim. You want to be able to punish teleports well, and this is a very easy 4-frame button, juggles into Oki. You want to know how to do this. These situations, to optimize them, it comes with a lot of experience and personal kind of lab work, because a lot of it is very dependent on very specific heights, spacing, and having the eye to kind of improvise. So it's hard for me to show everything that's optimal, but let me just show you some examples of optimizing your punishes of these moves and getting the most damage you can out of them when you need it, right? We'll go again with the same situation, Kami's medium hooligan. You can get that, for example. Pretty cool combo, you know, 1 bar spent. Goes into level 1 as well. Pretty cool. Oops. Here's another way to get into level 3 with 2 bars. These are just ideas that work on this juggle, right? So do your lab work with these. You know, it's going to be hard for anyone to tell you exactly what that you can do it in every situation. But as you play the character, you'll work this stuff out. So yeah, keep at it. I will very briefly cover Ed's standing light kick, mainly just the target combo, because although it does counter hit into certain buttons and that, you'll never really be using it like that. And this is the reason why. This, 6 frames, right? Looks like this. This, 5 frames, looks like this. These 2 moves, they have the exact same reach. This might look like it has a bit longer reach than this, but it doesn't. They're identical reach. I can promise you, I've done a lot of testing. Identical reach. The only real difference is that this obviously hits a bit higher. This hits a bit lower. And in this game, hitting lower is actually better. But I'm not going to get into that. It's just a lot of hurt boxes are low, and you never really have high hurt boxes that aren't accompanied by low hurt boxes, at least anyway. So this 1 frame slower, identical. So we're just going to talk about the target combo when it comes to this move, right? This move has a 3-hit target combo that's very good. You can do this, and it will be on block. Let's have a look. Oops. This is minus on block, by the way, -8. So you don't want to do all 3 hits on block. But if you just do 2 hits, -3. That's safe. And you can be pretty, look, not in throw range really. They can't threaten too much of a throw there, thankfully. So this, you can hit confirm this. You can do the first 2 hits. If they're getting blocked, you just finish it, right? But if it hits, you can finish the whole thing. When you finish the whole thing, it is +1 and you're standing right next to them. If you try to throw them here and they press a 4 frame, their 4 frame will win. But if they try to press a 4 frame and you jabbed, then you'll counter hit them because you're +1, right? That's the mix up there. It's a kind of fake throw shimmy, but if they try to contest it, then your kind of preemptive punish is real, okay? But there's an interesting thing to note about this. If you just do the first 2 hits, you're actually +3. So even if you do this and then throw, even if they press jab, they're going to get thrown. So you can sacrifice that tiny bit of damage that the 3rd hit does for the +3 situation to have a more real mix-up in this case, right? And then you can shimmy off this, right? You can throw off this, you can button, you know, the usual stuff. I'm not here to talk so much about Oki situations in this video, but it is important when it comes to talking about this combo and why you would sometimes do 2 hits and why you might do 3 hits, right? That's what I have to say about standing light kick. Crouching light kick. This move is only +3 on hit, meaning it doesn't link into anything, but it is a cancelable button. So what can it cancel into? Okay, your best meterless cancel is this. That is your best damage and Oki meterless like that. If you want to combo into level 3, you do it like this, right? And you know, if you have trouble with the execution of the medium upper, you can just do this and take your Oki if it's easier for you. It's just not optimal, right? Optimal is doing the medium upper. And a tip I give for the execution of this, when you do the upper input like this, hold the down forward input at the end to avoid getting level 3. It will help you, because you'll see sometimes, I'm trying to do it by accident here, but I can't really get it by accident. But some people, myself included, sometimes you'll get level 3 by accident trying to do this cancel. The trick is to hold down forward at the end, like you finish your motion in down forward and just hold it there, and it will stop you from getting level 3, okay? The input buffer in this system, you know, this game system, I should say, is pretty not good, to put it lightly, in a lot of situations, this being one of them. So that's one way to avoid that. When it comes to spending meter with this button, it follows the same rules as your standing light punch, okay? You can do this, which is a fantastic way to get into level 2, this button into OD Blitz, right? Fantastic way. In those weird niche situations, you can do this, right, for optimal 2-bar damage. And your drive rush options are the same as stand jab, right? It follows the exact same rules. So refer to that part of the video if you need to understand what you can drive rush into off of this button like that on a natural hit. Now we get to talking about counter hits with this button, crouching light kick, and why they're important. Counter hits are very important on this button. The first great thing about counter hits with crouching light kick is it counter hits into itself, right? So nice easy hit confirm here, you know, goes into whatever you're doing. Nice easy, you know, 2 hit confirm there off the counter hit, right? But more importantly, this button, when you counter hit with it, you can cancel into bigger specials. For example, into this, which is heavy blitz instead of, you know, medium upper, or even if you want, you can cancel into this, right? Why is this important? Okay, why is this so important? This button is, I wouldn't say it's a great drive rush check, but it's one of Ed's best drive rush check buttons, if not his best drive rush check button, right? So here's the thing. Let me just set the dummy. Okay, I've got the dummy set to drive rush. When you hit someone out of drive rush, it will always be a counter hit, okay? So when you're defending yourself against drive rushes, that means you can cancel into these big special moves to get better rewards from your checks. Oops, too early on that one. As you can see. This is why it's important to know. Because then you get your Oki, meatless, you know what I mean? And you can do it like this. You can do the 2-hit confirm. But sometimes it'll whiff. Like that, right? So the 1 hit into heavier special, very important to be able to defend yourself and get rewards for defending yourself, right? And the thing is, if you can hit, I'll turn off this dummy player right now. If you counter hit into drive rush, which is what I'm going to get into now, you don't have to do into jab like you do meatless, right? You can go straight into this. Straight into standing medium punch, which goes into standing heavy punch. You know, you can do stuff like this. Yeah. Stuff like this. That goes into level 3, obviously. Go into level 1. You know, all the normal kind of heavy punch into kill rush enders, right? This gets you into your heavy punch kill rush part of your combo quicker than off a natural hit, right? You just have to know that this is a counter hit when you hit it, which, as I said, if you're checking a drive rush, for example, with this button, it's always going to be a counter hit, right? So that's what's important to know about counter hits with this button. And if you punish counter with this button, a good example of punish countering with this button is actually, let me set this up. Block all, unblock, drive reversal. This is your optimal drive reversal punish, right? Is this starter. You do this, right? It's +7 on hit if you get a punish counter, because when you punish this, it's a punish counter, right? That's your optimal kind of, you know, meterless. You know, it goes into your usual target combo routes, okay? That's what you need to know about this. The reason you do this button instead of this, you can do this. You can do this, but the reason you want to use this instead is very simple. It's the range. So even if you get pushed a bit out of range, it's more reliable than pressing this, right? And you don't want to press this because a low starter does less damage, and this button does less damage in general anyway, right? So that's what you want to do, right? And you can even go obviously into your level 2 like this, right? That's the idea with punish counters and this button. Oh. And very quickly, there is actually one quick thing I forgot to talk about with counter hits and this button. If you counter hit with this button, it will actually cancel combo into this, right? This is useful. Sometimes you'll just be poking people like this with this button like this. You know, if it's not a counter hit, or if they block it, and you know, it's -6 or whatever. So as long as you space it well, you'll be safe. If they got counter hit, they'll get hit. Very useful. And then off that, you can obviously play into like more trickier, you know, holding the flicker like this, back sway canceling it, actually holding it and letting it go. You get the idea. But yeah, you need this as a basis to be able to play off that situation to begin with, right? It's a very important aspect of it for harassment. So yeah, this can counter hit combo into this. It won't natural combo into that.
Standing medium punch. What are your meterless options off of this button for combos? Okay, you can do this, which you won't really use, but it's a very niche kind of, if you want to stand in reset for whatever reason, kind of ender. But primarily what you're going to be doing is something like this. That's your best mid-screen meterless damage, as well as your knockdown pressure, right? If you want to go into level 3, you do this. Right? If you want to go into the... Well, actually, what we'll need to go into now is the target combo. I got a bit ahead of myself there. Target combo, you will mostly see high-level ed players do the target combo like this. And then they'll take their knockdown pressure off of that, right? That is your usual best situation, I would say, right? But if you do want the most damage, technically, you do this. It's just that the knockdown pressure isn't as good, right? But I'm not going to go too much into knockdown pressure because this video is about combos, right? And if you want to go into, like, you know, level 1, you do this. But yeah, those are the main mid-screen target combo options. What about in the corner? In the corner, I would say the primary ender you're going to be using is this. That's because it gives you a safe jump without sacrificing much damage. If you want the most meterless damage, you do this. Right? You won't get a safe jump, but you'll get a little bit more damage. If you want to spend level 1, you do that, right? And if you want to, you know, go into level 3, just like this, pretty straightforward. Those are your primary meterless options with this button. Okay, what about your metered options with this button? The primary combo you'll be doing, spending a bit of meter, like 2 bars, will be usually this, right? And the reason for this is because it's going to give you your level 3. But even if you don't go into level 3, the knockdown pressure is pretty great regardless, and you get a safe jump if it goes into the corner, alright? So that's what you're going to do there. Technically, a 2-bar kill off a disconfirm, you can do this, like I said, with the light combos. Technically optimal, but you'll very, very rarely ever be doing that combo. So yeah. But what about target combo, mid-screen? How can you spend meter to get more out of it, right? The main way is to go into this, alright? Now if you want your optimal damage and such mid-screen, and you're very close to them, you can do this. The knockdown pressure is not the best, they can walk out of this, although you do get a button, but that's your best damage from up close like this. You know. But what about if it's further out? If it's further out, you'll see a problem comes, even if it doesn't seem that much further out, but you'll see. This whiffs, right? So what can you do here? The best thing to usually do in this situation is to just do this and take the knockdown pressure like that. If you want the best damage, you can do this. That's technically the best damage there to do that, but you usually will want the knockdown pressure for a small bit less damage. But with this combo also, you'll see that it's a safe jump, so if you're hitting them into the corner with this, you know, it's a safe jump there, so that's important to keep in mind. Spending meter for a drive rush. This button, whoops, sorry, wrong button. This button will naturally combo into your 10 frame buttons for drive rush combos, meaning optimally you can do something like this. And you know, the end is obviously stuff like this. But of course, if they are crouching, as I've said earlier in the video, this will whiff. So you're either going to be hit confirming, or sorry, you're going to be confirming that they're crouching, or you're going to do a safer combo that will work on crouches regardless, which is this. Right? And then you can obviously go into your supers and all that business. Go to the stand heavy punch section for the kind of routing you can do off of these, right? Okay, I have Jamie set to counter hit. What does this button counter hit into? Stand medium punch will counter hit into itself. So you can go into all the usual routes. I recommend going into target combo over doing these combos because those are more hit confirm combos. You're using them to hit confirm and such, but if you already have hit confirm from the first stand medium punch, then you're able to just go into target combo here, right? And do all the routing off of that. So that's one great way this button can be used as a counter hit. Another thing it can do, if you don't have the range, you'll see it doesn't always reach. But thankfully this button is +8 when a counter hit, so you can do this, right? You can do this. You can get into level 2 like this, you know what I mean? And obviously get into your drive rush routes, right? So these are the ways this button can be used as a counter hit like that. But also one very important use this button has when it counter hits is you can actually cancel it into OD flicker now, which is very useful for your combo routing, right? But how can you know that you're gonna get a counter hit? And the answer is very simple. Every time you whiff punish something, it's at least gonna be a counter hit, if not a punish counter. So if you use this button to whiff punish, you don't have to try to confirm if it's a counter hit or not, because by virtue of being a whiff punish, or a poke that they can only hit into, and get counter hit by, that's how you know it's gonna work, right? And this goes, this is the standard that you're usually gonna do. That's the pretty classic kind of mid-screen. If you want extra damage, you can do that. In the corner, this, which again I'll go deeper into these combos later on. There's a bit more corner stuff. I'll save it for the stand heavy punch section, the kind of corner routing you can do with this button. With OD flicker, right? So go to that section if you want all the juicy stuff. But yeah, the important takeaway here is that with counter hit, you can get into your OD flicker combos here. Alright, let's talk about this button as a punish counter, right? There are two main scenarios you'll see this button as a punish counter. One is sometimes off of perfect parries. Like if you perfect parry a jab, you'll have enough time to get this button, but not a bigger button. Like maybe you won't have enough time to get this, so you'll sometimes be using this as your starter off of perfect parry punish combos. But the other main scenario you'll use this button as a punish counter is to punish with throw attempts, like throw techs and such. There are two main throw tech punishes, I would say. One is a stand heavy punch starter, which is the most optimal, but you will still sometimes use this just because mentally it's a quicker button, it's easier to react with. So sometimes this is what you'll do, right? It's very practical and it's used by a lot of high level ed players that do both, right? There are two main ways you'll punish throw techs. So anyway, when you punish counter with this button, it goes straight into your
stand heavy punch routing, which is awesome, right? So go to the stand heavy punch section of this video to see all the possible routing off of that button, but this will get you there. You know, go into your level 2 stuff, so on and so forth. Okay, finally I will talk about possible trade combos with stand medium punch. I'm going to do a very set scenario. You'll see that I have Jamie to do a reversal 4-frame on block. I'm going to set up a situation where I'm +3. It's off of my safe jump pressure, and you will see what happens when I do that. Right. When you trade with this button, it is often around, especially in this scenario, it's +8, right? It's going to be around that mark in terms of plus frames. So if I'd done another stand medium, although it could have comboed, I was pushed out of range by both of us being hit. The hit stun pushed us out of range, but thankfully I'm able to combo with crouch medium punch. And you'll find this in neutral a lot. If you happen to trade with whatever in neutral when you press this button, and you both get hit like that, press something like this to try combo off it. And once you get a real feel for it, you'll be able to work out just by, you know, seeing it and it happening if you're able to combo or not off of these situations. Oh, and I kind of forgot to do this, but I'll just quickly add this in right here. If you drive rush into this button, which sometimes you will, it's an okayish drive rush button. It's the same rules obviously as if you got a punish counter. You know, straight into your stand heavy punch routing is generally the best thing to do. You even get to hit confirm it and so on and so forth. So yeah. Crouching medium punch. This is your crouching medium kick equivalent, and it doesn't link into anything. It's only +2 on hit, but it cancels into all your specials basically. You know, you got this. But how are you going to realistically use this meterless, right? Two main answers. There'll be times where you get knockdowns like this. Oops, sorry. Where you won't be really in range for a throw if they walk out, for example. But you can catch them trying to walk out with a move like this, right? And a good thing is to do this. Although it's like -6 on block, if you space it well, it's usually not punishable. And it's a good way to just check people trying to walk out of situations. But if they're closer, for example, you know, off of this knockdown, where you actually do get throw gear and you expect them to walk back, you want to spend no meter and try to check them low still. Obviously you could do a low jab combo, but also you can do something like this, right? This combos. You have to be close though. If you're too far away, you're gonna get stuff like this, right? Even, whoops, sorry. So make sure you're close enough for this. If you're close, you want to do this, because you can even just end it after this if they're blocking, right? Which is mildly unsafe, but there's a kind of mix-up going on there where if they try to punish, you could always do the second part of the fireball to push them out, right? But yeah, close this. If you're further out, this. And you can even, when you do this, you can even do stuff like, you know, this. You can't really hit confirm this, but unless they get like counter hit or even, you know, punish countered, but you can use it to get out of that situation if you really want. When it comes to spending meter with this button, for your 2-bar OD, the most important route is going to be this. You get your knockdown pressure off this, you get a safe jump if it hits. Even on block it's safe at -3, but you don't really want to do it on block because you're wasting a lot of resources, and obviously they get a mix up on you like a throw strike because you move in so close. But
if you have a decent read on that they're going to be walking backwards, or you know it's going to hit, it's definitely worth doing, because if you do manage to hit with this, it also goes into your level 2 routing, which, like I said, will be at the end of the video, but if you can get into level 2, it is very, very worth it. Level 2 is what you're aiming for whenever you have it, really. So what about drive rush cancels? Before that, I should say, you can obviously, you know, stuff like this works. Optimal, very niche situations. But yes, drive rush cancels. The interesting thing about this button is it goes straight into your 10 frame moves. So you get optimal straight away without needing to confirm any kind of counter hit or anything, right? So if they're standing, as we've said in other sections, straight into this, you know. If they're crouching, which you won't see them crouching so much if you hit them with this, because obviously this is a low, you know what I mean? You can obviously counter hit them if they're pressing a crouching button, and they'll still be crouching, but if you're catching people low, they'll usually be standing. So if they're low, you have to do it like this. Right? Because if you do the usual route, it whiffs here. And yeah, for the rest of the kind of optimal drive rush stuff, go to the stand heavy punch section, where I will fully explain the big drive rush routes. Counter hits with crouching medium punch. There's only one real thing you need to know about this button when it comes to counter hits, and that is if it counter hits, it will combo into your OD flicker routes, right? Again, for more information on OD flicker routes, go to the stand heavy punch section. But this is important, because if you're using this as a poke or a whiff punish, you know, a counter poke, you're gonna get a counter hit. So if you ever whiff punish something with this, you can always go into this for 2 bars, which is definitely what you want. It's preferable to go in for something like this, okay? And the reason is the meter spend for the damage and knockdown pressure you're getting. It's a lot more valuable to only spend 2 bars here. And even if you want to spend 3, because you want the damage, you should still do this, because you can just end up going like this. Right? Something like that. So you always, if you can get into OD flicker, you want to get into OD flicker over doing a drive rush combo. And finally, when it comes to crouching medium punch, I will talk about trade combos. And the one I'm going to talk about now is, as you can see, I have Ryu set to mash his 4 frame when he blocks something. The interesting thing here is when you trade with this, because when you pull someone in with a charged flicker, it's +4. This move is 8 frames startup, so if they press jab at the same time you press this, there will be a trade, and you are advantageous with the trade. In this situation, as you can see, I'm +9. Against other jabs, it can be different. It won't always be +9. It depends character specific, which takes a bit of lab work if you really want to know what's truly optimal. But here we have +9. So what I could do here is this, right? I would say that's optimal of this situation to get into that. But if it's like +8 or +7, you have other options. Like you can do something like this, right? These are situations you need to lab, but that's generally the optimal routes. And if you get pushed too far back and it's at least +8, you can do this, right? You can get another crouching medium punch. Whoops, let me just get that right for you. Right? So you can deliberately try to trade to set up these situations, like in this one I'm talking about right here, right? And the reason you want to do that is because you do get big conversions off of them. And even if they don't, you know, jab here, a lot of people will try walk out of this, even though they can't. They'll try to walk out of this. So
even if they press nothing, you know, you can always have it option selected to do something like this, right? Just to check them low and not let them walk out. Okay, stand medium kick, a very important button. What can you do with this button meterlessly? Although it's very rare you'll use it like this, it does go into all your special moves such as this, right? You know, not your, it doesn't go into this. That doesn't combo, but it will go into your other usual special moves, even this, right? But you'll need to be pretty well spaced for that. But the main one that you'll actually be using is this, right? This is a good poke, like this. But you have to be careful using this, because if they block this, and they expect you to do this, they can DI between the stand medium kick and the light flicker, and it will punish your light flicker. But you can play around this, firstly just by doing nothing, obviously, and then counter DIing them. But you can also do this, right? But I'm not here so much to talk about that stuff. I'm just here in this video to talk about combos. Another thing, obviously, is your target combo. This thing is great. And yeah, I mean, you do the first 2 hits, it's -6 if they block it. Pretty much unpunishable at a lot of ranges, and it gives you time to hit confirm if they're actually getting hit, and then you can finish the combo. Okay, now it's time to talk about meter spend, and while we talk about meter spend, I'm also going to talk about counter hits, because they're very interlinked when it comes to this button. If you get a natural hit with this, first of all, I'm going straight to drive rush stuff, because the other stuff, you know, obvious, this doesn't work, as we said. Even with counter hit, this won't work, okay? I don't even think it works with punish counter, so you'll never be able to do this, right? So don't try, don't think about it. But anyway, let's get straight to drive rush, right? On a natural drive rush hit, meaning they don't get counter hit or punish counted, it's not +10. So if you try to do this stuff, it's not going to work. So the optimal routing you need to do is like this. That's what you need to do, right? Even this, you know, it's only +8 or a +7 perhaps. But the number is not that important. However, if they get counter hit, then you can do your optimal routing, right? If they're standing, you know, like that. If they are crouching, like this, you're able to get into your optimal drive rush combo routes, which will be further explained in the stand heavy punch section. So how can you know that they get counter hit other than confirming it as soon as they get hit and looking for the counter hit? The most simple way is that if you ever whiff punish something with this button, it's always going to be a counter hit at least, if not a punish counter. So if it's ever a whiff punish, the optimal thing to do is always to go straight into your 10 frame combo continuations, right? But if you're unsure, or it's, you know, it's a natural hit, then you have to do it like this, okay? Those are the main rules when it comes to using this button from drive rush, as well as how counter hits and such work with this button. Okay, now we're on to crouching medium kick, and what a button this is for combos and in general. Crazy, very weird button. Anyway, meterless combos with this button. First of all, it's +8 on hit, which is very big, alright? +8 on hit means that if you hit it up close, naturally, you can go into target combo, medium punch, heavy punch, target combo, and do your routing from there, which is very good. But also, if you're a bit further out, it also goes into crouching medium punch. So you can get here if you need to, you know, maybe you want to get into this. Again, maybe you want to get into this. These are the meterless routes that you can do with this button. But there's a bit more that I will go over. If you do a very, let's have
no block. This is a standard kind of knockdown for Ed, right? If you do an immediate crouching medium kick here, it'll actually be meaty. So as you can see, that's +9 there. And what does that mean if it's +9? Well, crouch medium kick is a 9-frame button. So you can do stuff like this and it will combo, right? Meterless, as you know we should be doing, you can do this because, again, this goes into your heavy kill. It's called kill switch chaser. That's it, kill switch chaser. This will go naturally into your kill switch chaser as well, which is another great thing about this button. So yeah, those are your primary meterless options. Okay, and now we move on to metered options with this button. If you were, I'll quickly get that straight. If you were to do, you know, it naturally combos like this, but because this button naturally combos into OD flicker, this is your primary meter spend using this button. This is what you want to do the most. You want to get this into this, right? Whether you're doing it from a whiff punish or they walk into it, so on and so forth. You want to be doing it into this, right? And that's an example of a, you know, double meter spend combo there, which I haven't shown yet. But yeah, any flicker will go into another one, but be sure to check out the flicker section for those combos, right? Counter hits on crouching medium kick. Now this is very important because this button is so good as a counter hit. As you may already know of this button, it whiffs on crouches a lot. It whiffs against crouches unless you're really close. But you'll notice I have Ryu set to counter hit here, but it doesn't even matter if it's a counter hit. You'll notice when Ryu gets hit here, he stands up. That's because this button forces stand when it hits. So what does that mean? Well, I forced him to stand here and it's +10. That means I can do another move and it doesn't matter if he's crouching because I forced him to stand. This is extremely useful, right? Because you can get some counter hit confirms from so far away, and because this button is so good in combos, you can go into your proper routes. Like, look how far away that was, right? Just an amazing button to get counter hits with, if you can get a counter hit with it, right? Because it goes into itself. And you're primarily going to be doing this, right? Although meatless, you know, the usual routing, okay? But there's more to this, right? It also combos into this. So if you're in range for stand heavy punch, which, you know, sometimes you won't be, like this, in that range, you're going to have to do a double crouch medium kick, which is still great. But if you're in range and you want to be completely optimal, this is the route you want to go for damage. And you can get into level 2 combos like this. You can just go meterless. You get the idea. When it comes to punish counters with this button, there is a niche optimization that you won't really use too much, but I mean it's there, so I'll talk about it, right? This as a punish counter is +12, so technically what you can do with the right spacing is something like this, right? Like this, and you'll notice because this was the starter that forces stands, when you're going into a drive rush combo like this, I don't have to confirm if they're standing or crouching because I already know they're gonna be standing because the start of the combo forced them to stand and they'll be stuck for stand for the rest of the combo. So I can go into my full stand optimized damage, right? And this, at the right spacings, this can also, you know, go into this
so on and so forth. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Like this. That's the general idea with this, even if you wanted to for whatever reason, although I don't think that's ever really optimal. Briefly, I'll talk about using this button to anti-air some things, specifically things that force knockdowns. For example, I have a Kuma set to do Demon Flip. If you hit Demon Flip out of the air, it gives you a combo opportunity, and there are other moves like this, such as Kami's Hooligan, Bison's Shadow's Rise, although I wouldn't recommend trying to use that button for this. But because of that force knockdown, you can do combos that wouldn't normally be possible off of an anti-air, and here is some examples. As you can see, already Flicker will juggle here. If this was a normal jump in, this wouldn't work, but because he's in a forced state that allows for air juggles, this is great. You can also, you know, something like this also works for a bit less meter. Oops. You could do something like this, for example. As I said when I talked about Kami's Hooligan and stand light punches and anti-air, this is stuff you really need to lab to get the most out of. It's hard for me to say all the optimal combos possible because it's very dependent on how you hit them out of the air and what height they were at, and with, you know, what button, so on and so forth. Okay, now we move on to stand heavy punch. Now this is going to be a big section because a lot of your combo routing revolves around getting to this button to be able to do the most optimal damage, corner carry, you know, everything basically from this button. And the first thing we're going to talk about is meterless combos, with the most basic one being this. This is a true block string, so if they block this stand heavy punch first, the light flicker will be a true block string, meaning they can't DI in between, right? Very useful. But another thing about this button, which I talk about in a couple other videos, but I'll talk about it here, is you can actually single hit confirm this, and it's very, very easy. You just need to know how to do it. I have Rashid on random block now. He'll block or get hit randomly, so I won't know. And I'm going to show you what I mean. Look, hit. Didn't hit. I can do that because I saw it didn't hit. Hit. Didn't hit. I can do that, right? The way you do this is you press the stand heavy punch into flicker and you hold it. You hold the flicker and you look to see if they got hit or not. And if they got hit, you just let it go and it'll combo. And if they didn't, you backsway cancel it, right? This is very easy to do. There's a couple other buttons you can do this with. This being one of them. And a good reason to do this, even though, because you'd think, well, there's no gap anyway, so why not just do it? Because if people don't notice about this button, and if people are looking to DI your flickers in general, like you charging flicker, if you do something like this and you backsway, and sometimes people DI here and you'll get a punish. So that's the reason to single hit confirm this. But anyway, let's move on to other meterless options, right? We'll stay on the topic of single hit confirms. This button is a 18 frame window special cancel, meaning you have 18 frames from seeing this hit to react and cancel it into a special move, right? Which means you can actually cancel it into this on reaction, into this on reaction, and some other metered options, which I'll get into once we get to that part. But the idea is you can hit confirm this move single hit, and you'll see a lot of good players like Lashar, for example, doing this. It takes a bit of practice. If you've never done anything like it before, it can take a lot of practice actually, but it's humanly possible, and everyone can do this with enough practice and mindfulness. And I have a video about this on my channel, which I recommend checking out about single hit confirms with Ed. Right, let's get to the core meterless stand heavy punch combos, right? And they are stand heavy punch into kill switch chaser, which is the late kill rush, and the follow-ups to do with this, right? So mid screen, your most bread and butter with this is going to be this, right? This gives you the most, you know, corner carry and knockdown pressure. It's not the most damage. If you want purely damage, you do this. But if they back rise, the knockdown pressure is not that good. But one thing to note is if you notice your opponent doesn't back rise in general, it is actually better to do this ender. Because when they get up, I'll set him to not back rise here. You get actual full, you know, knockdown pressure, and you'll get more damage. So that's a player habit to note, like, you know, take note of and take advantage of, because there's a surprisingly high amount of people that don't back rise in this game. I don't know if they don't know about it or what have you, but yeah. And another thing is, if your combo is going to end, you know, towards the corner, even probably like here, right? You take the heavy upper instead of the blitz, because extra damage and you're going to get the knockdown pressure regardless. And of course, to get into your supers, it's obviously, this is to get into level 1. Level 3. And level 2, you have a couple of options, which, like I said, I'm mostly gonna... Level 2 is definitely gonna have its own section, but I'll go over these because they're not the kind of level 2 combos that are similar to the others. Sometimes you'll get into a situation where you're in burnout, what have you, and you need to meterlessly get a level 2 out to do optimal damage. You can do something like this. This is heavy level 2. Right? That's one thing you can do. Or you could do, you know, sometimes you'll just get it off a normal, in which case you can do this, you know, or you can end that, of course, with this. These are your main meterless options for comboing into a level 2 off of this button. Alright, now we get into spending meter with this button, which is where things are really going to open up. The first thing I'll talk about is this cancel. You can single hit confirm this 18 frames, as I was talking about. It takes a bit of practice, but this will get you into OD blitz, which goes into your level 2 combos, right? So very, very important combo there. But the main thing you're going to be using is this, right? And going into a OD flicker is almost always a better idea than doing a drive rush cancel like this, as an example, okay? There are some very optimal combos, which I will get into in this section, where you do want to drive rush cancel, but as a general rule, you'll be looking to get into flicker, right? And as I just showed, your B&B combo mid-screen is going to be this for the knockdown pressure. But you can also do this for the damage. Anyway, there's one thing I should point out about these combos, is I'm going to do the general B&B version. I want you to watch Ed's drive gauge as I do this, because as you know, OD moves cost 2 bars, right? You see, by the time I take my knockdown pressure and Rashid is just getting up, I've already got back like half a bar of drive, right? So really this combo only costs like 1.5 bars of drive. And then you get even more back if you do meaties in that, you get more back, right? So That's super important in this game for meter management. It's very useful. It's one of the many reasons to use flicker combos over drive rush combos, because as you can see, I'm not building any drive gauge back while doing those combos. But if you want to spend and do a bit more damage, you know, a 3-bar combo like a drive rush cancel, you can do this mid-screen. Right, as you can see, I build a tiny bit of drive back, I do good damage, and I get knockdown pressure. There's a couple nuances to this combo. Obviously, you can do this into level 3. I should point that out. Into level 3. If you're getting towards the corner and they're kind of close, but not fully in it, it's good to do heavy upper, because heavy upper would whiff otherwise mid-screen. But because you're close to the corner, you can do it like this, right? That's one ender. But if you're actually taking them into the corner, I will show you the best ender. As you can see, this is plus 42, which means it's a safe jump. And great damage, you know, great corner carry to get them there to begin with. You have to watch out for that though. If you're too close to the corner when you start this combo, it'll whiff. But you can be decently close. Safe jump and everything. Very good to combo into this route when you have them in the corner, right? But we'll continue with these flicker combos. This is a BNB. We'll talk about the corner now, okay? In the corner, one thing you can do very easily is this, which is a bit more damage using the heavy flicker. You can technically do this mid-screen, but depending on how they're spacing, it changes the timing of your flicker, or if it's even possible at all. And it can be very hard to kind of get a handle on, so I don't particularly recommend it. But yeah, this is one more basic, you know, way to get more damage. But the optimal combo for 2 bars in the corner is actually this. Right? I don't think that combo was intentional when they made this character, but it's possible, right? And it does really great damage for 2 bars. So I highly recommend practicing this combo. Technically, you can link this into, or sorry, not link, you can cancel this into level 3, but it takes a bit of execution, and I'll explain how it works. When you cancel the light upper, I'll show you it not working first, okay? As you can see, it whiffed, right? But you can make this combo work. And the trick to it is you want to cancel the latest cancelable frames of the light upper into level 3. And that way, it will work properly. This combo is pretty hard, and I don't try to do it in real matches. I have before, but it is technically optimal, so that's why I've put it in here. And it's fun to practice as well. And I have seen people like Momochi, for example, do it in actual matches. So, you know, it's just a matter of practicing the execution. So this is how it's supposed to look. As you can see, I cancelled the frames late, and it managed to combo. So pretty great damage for 2 bars there. And now we'll get to more kind of full spend routes, right? I'm sure the obvious, you know, you can think of is you can do something like this. Right? Very basic, sometimes that will happen. It goes into your other routes. The thing that's good to know about this is, much like I talked about this button, forcing stand, So does stand heavy punch, which is very useful and very important, right? So if I put him to crouch, it forces him to stand if I hit him. What this means is, normally, as you know, this button whiffs against crouches, but if I, we're talking about stand heavy punch as a starter. If I start a combo with this button, I'm forcing my opponent to stand, so I don't have to hit confirm whether they're crouching or not. So I can just go straight into this, and get everything I need without worrying about if they're crouching or not. But let's get into it. If you want the optimal 6-bar spend, here is how you do it off of this button. It'll go like this, right? And you'll notice that I got an extra kind of rep of my drive rush cancels in there. The way you do that is when you do the first stand heavy kick, you micro walk a little bit before you do a stand medium punch, right? And that'll build back a tiny bit of drive gauge, and it'll give you enough to do an extra cancel window. And it's not as hard as it looks. It's actually not too bad. So here, micro walk, right? That's a kind of full bar spin there, right? Another thing you can do on full bars, if you're going towards the corner, is this, which is less damage, but if you don't want to do the micro walk. And now I'll go into some other full spins you can do here, right? This is one of my favorites. This is a really cool combo, right? This is the full, you need 6 bars essentially to do this version of this combo, right? Very high damage, slightly less than doing the micro walk combos, but only by about 50-ish or so damage, right? And if you don't have 6 bars, here's what you can do instead. You can stop it at the first stand heavy punch instead, and you need to do a medium blitz, and you'll do obviously less damage, but there you go, right? And you can end this combo early as well and safe jump, but I don't recommend spending so much meter on a combo for a safe jump like this when you have cheaper routes to get to that safe jump, right? But technically, this is a safe jump. Plus 42. Alright, I'll very quickly go back to meatless combos because there's one I almost forgot. If you do this, naturally it's plus 5. So what does that mean? You can get this, right? You can get your crouching light kick, which lets you do this. It lets you do something like this. Lets you hit confirm into this, right? These are all things that are possible. But now I will move on to counter hits, and this is plus 7 on counter hit. So the main function this has as a counter hit is you can get into target combo. So do your target combo routing from here if you're close enough. Obviously, too far away, not going to work, but it's good as a knockdown kind of meaty because you can hit confirm into combos like this, which is very useful. And punish counter, you are actually plus 9 and you force stand, as I was talking about earlier, which is very important. Because as you know, if there's, far away, this button's not going to work. 9-frame button. But if I hit them with this, and it's a punish counter, they're forced to stand. Like, it doesn't have to be a punish counter to force them to stand, but it needs to be a punish counter to combo into this button. So as you can see, I don't have to crouch confirm because I forced them to stand, which is very useful. But like I said, the main use of this is you will get a lot of whiff punishes or what have you, or even just punishes in general from perfect parries or just blocking a move that's, you know, -10 or worse. And this will be a very go-to combo. But one of the primary ways you'll see this combo used, or this button used as a punish counter, which I briefly spoke about before, is as a throw tech punish, right? So yeah, this is what I would consider your optimal starter to punish with throws, right? And it's what you'll see most people doing most of the time. One unique thing I'll talk about when it comes to air juggles with this button is it's very often a good button to go for to juggle off of your fireballs, and I'll try my best to demonstrate here. I won't be able to show every round because, like I usually say, very height dependent and spacing dependent, but I'll give some ideas, right? You can do this. That's like the most basic, you know, conversion. But there are times where you can also spend meter, and I'll try to show a bit of that if I can. There's just like a brief example of extending it with meter, but it can be very finicky, and you need to like have good knowledge of what's possible in the moment just from, like, you know, seeing it, okay? But that'll come with time and practice. Now we move on to standing heavy kick. Alright, the most important thing to note about this button is whiffs against crouches no matter what, right? So how could you, obviously we're starting with meterless combos. How can we combo into this meterlessly if they're, you know, if they're crouching, right? The simple answer, which is a bit more complicated than it's, you know, lets on, is off of a safe jump. Look, I will put him to crouch. Off of a safe jump, meaty, you will get your combo, alright? You see how Akuma was blocking, he blocked it instead of just crouching under it? That's because he was forced to stand in that situation. Let me show it a bit better here. You see how that hit him even though I have him set to crouch? It's because he was forced to stand from the meaty safe jump, right? That's the only real practical way to hit this naturally, okay? And but even then, some things won't work, all right? Let me show you. We will set Akuma to wake up, crouching light punch. If the opponent wakes up with a crouching button in this situation, even though they got hit, it will whiff because the frame 1 of the crouching button puts them into a crouching stance that the fuzzy does not override. Oops, keep doing the wrong combo there. Jeez. You see that? Didn't work that time. That's because he pressed crouching light punch. If he did standing light punch, it would have worked, of course. But if he did any crouching normal wake up like that, it will whiff, right? And in that case, you should really just do something like this, right? But yeah, that's just quickly how to get into this combo meterlessly with a natural hit. And now let's talk about the combo routing. It's very simple. This naturally goes into your target combo. So look at the target combo routes to see how that goes, right? Now, when it comes to spending meter with this button, it's all your usual routes from like stand medium punch essentially, right? You can do this, you know, all your usual routing from there. If you hit them with this, you already know they're standing, so you don't have to, you know, confirm crouch or stand. You can go straight into your maximum damage here, right? And another great route for meter is this. Get into your level 2 combos, right? Moving on to counter hit, I'm also going to do punish counter at the same time because the combos are going to essentially be the same always. It's plus 10, so you can go straight into your stand heavy punch routing, which go to that section which we just covered if you want more information on those routes. But yeah, straight to your stand heavy punch routes. Oops. Look at that, 4064. And the thing about this, we'll move on to punish counters now. It's the same combos as counter hit stuff. Everything's essentially possible. This is often going to be your punish. If they do something that is, they're standing and you are, you know, they're minus 10 or a bit worse, this is very often your optimal punish. For things such as dragon punches and stuff like that. Although you do have more optimal dragon punch punishes, which I'm going to cover in the medium flicker part of the guide. Alright, so yeah, punish counter, this is your combo starter essentially, right? Into all the stand heavy punch routes, and you can get some big damage off of this. Okay, and now we come to stand heavy punch as an air juggling tool. Now certain moves, or if you do this move off Drive Rush, you will get to juggle off it, and this button is really great for air juggles, okay? For example, Akuma's Demon Flip, if you hit it out of the air, it'll put him in a forced juggle state, right? So if you anti-air with this move, and it's a very good anti-air, you can get some big combos, which I'll briefly go over. They're spacing specific, right? And height specific. You do this into level 3. You can just keep it like this, right? Simple. If they are near the corner, you can like really expand upon this. Do stuff like this. You know, that's a big damage kind of combo. But let me show you some of my favorite ones to do. It's usually the characters that jump very high, right? Let's have Bison. Bison's Shadow's Rise is a move that puts him in a forced juggle state if he's anti-aired, right? And you can get some huge damage off this. Even mid-screen, you can get some huge damage. Yeah, this is what I mean about the kind of crazy juggles you can get with this move, right? It has so much going for it. And as I showed in the stand heavy punch section, where I converted off someone jumping on top of a fireball, you can use this button in that situation if you're close enough. And then you can get juggles similar to this and the Akuma one, depending on their height and such, right? Alright, now we move on to crouching heavy kick. This button here, right? There's no real need to go over counter hit and punish counter stuff so much, because this button, you're essentially always going to be cancelling it. You're not really going to be linking it, right? And the first thing to talk about is this combo right here. Similar to what I said in the stand heavy punch, you can single hit confirm this, and you can either dash or, you know, actually go, depending on what they do. So I will put Bison to random block, and I'll show you what I mean. See, I saw he blocked, so I backed off. I saw it hit, so I hit, right? That was on random. The trick, as I said in the stand heavy punch section of the video, is you press and you hold the snatcher, and if you see they get hit, you let go. If you see they blocked, you back sway cancel it, okay? That's the trick. But what else does this move combo into? Meterlessly, goes into everything. You can single hit confirm this move, special cancel. It is 16 frames, which is pretty hard, but humanly possible, right? You'll see, like I said, you'll see players like Lashard do this really well, but it is very hard, right? But this move you'll often be spending meter on, and one reason for that is it's a great move to get into your OD blitz, into your level 2 combos. Very common to do this, right? It does not combo into this ever. That will never work, so you're usually doing this if you're spending meter, or you're drive rush cancelling it, right? And the thing with this move is it does not force stand. So if you want to be optimal, if they're crouching, this combo route won't work because it will whiff, right? So you'll have to do this to get into those routes, right? You'll have to do this. But if you see that they're standing, or if it's a punish where you know they're standing, you can get the usual big route, okay? These are the main things to know when it comes to spending meter with this button. This button also has a target combo. And don't be deceived, this target combo is actually quite useful, right? First of all, you can single hit confirm it. It's a 19 frame window to do this specifically. So it's definitely possible. It's easier than single hit confirming stand heavy punch. And this button can go into all of your supers, right? Goes into level 1. Goes into level 2. Goes into level 3. Alright? What's the use of this as a super cancel? One thing, well, first you got the hit confirm. It's a good hit confirm into level 1. But if you're ever in burnout and you want to poke, but you're kind of, you're scared to commit to big buttons because you're in burnout, and if they DI you and you did a big button, you're going to get hit, right? Well, if you do this, cancel into level 1, that'll beat the DI, right? So it's quite useful in burnout, I would say. Okay, and the final grounded normal I'm going to talk about very briefly is this move, forward heavy punch, right? There's not too much to go over with this button. The main thing is it's not going to combo off anything unless it's a punish counter, right? So how can you get a punish counter with this button? Well, it hops over lows. So if you press it and you hop over someone's crouching medium kick, for example, like Ken's crouching medium kick, it'll hop over and often punish counter it. And you can hop over certain other things like Jury's fireballs. You can jump over the top and you'll punish counter the recovery. But that can be finicky at times, right? But it's still a very good tool. So anyway, you need a punish counter to combo off this, and it is +5. So that means optimally you want to do something like this, into level 2. Oops, messed up the input there. It's a great way to get into level 2, but even without level 2, that's still a great ender for the knockdown pressure, right? If you want to do meterless, oops, you can do this. You know what I mean? Level 3, you can do this. These are the main ideas, and I mean, the reason I use this is just because it's good damage and the longest poke, but you can do stand jab in that. I know modern doesn't have this button, for example, and I'm not really making the video about modern combos because I don't play modern, but yeah, I'll just throw that in there. You can do this, right? But if you play on classic, you should always be doing this. Okay, let's quickly talk about this button as a combo tool, jumping medium kick. The only time you'll really get this as a combo tool is if you hit certain moves out of the air to air, and if you do it early and pretty much preemptively, alright? Normally this will just air reset them and there won't be any combo. But again, We have Bison here doing a Shadow's Rise, which causes a forced knockdown for him. And you can combo up it if you do it early, right? Stuff like this. Really, it depends on the hit of what is optimal, right? This is a good one. Sometimes you can get more than this, right? Like that, for example. Stuff like this, right? It's all very dependent on the spacing, the height, so on and so forth. So my best advice here is if you're really interested in optimizing these combos, you're going to have to lab them yourself to get a real feel for what you can do and when. There is one button, one of its jumping buttons that is different to the others, and that is jumping heavy kick, right? Even though this is a heavy, this move is actually quite fast. As you can see, it's 8 frames startup, whereas this 10 frames, right? Even though that's a medium. This button is so good air to air, and you can potentially get massive combos off it, which I'll show, right? I have JP set to jump. This button forces knockdowns, so you don't have to hit any kind of special jump or anything like that to get a juggle state out of them. You just need to hit them, right? But it's not going to work as an reactive air to air. It needs a bit of preemption, right? Because if you just do it as an air to air, as I'll show, look, I can't combo off that because we're falling at the same time, right? But if I am preemptive, or if I'm already jumping and then react to him jumping, I can get some big juggles. Stuff like this. Check out the stand heavy kick portion of the video talking about air juggles, because a lot of the juggles you do there can do here, right? Stuff like this. You know. Okay, time to talk about uncharged flickers, alright? How are we going to best describe this? The first thing I'll do is we're going to be talking about punish counters when you happen to whiff punish someone in neutral with a flicker, alright? That's where we'll start, alright? Now there's actually a difference between light flicker and medium flicker in terms of what combos you can get. A lot of people don't know that. If you get a light, the biggest button you can get is this, right? If you get a medium, you can actually get this. Look, I'll do a light now and you'll see that this will never work. Even if I'm super close, drive rushing into this won't work, okay? You need medium to do that, right? So you might think, oh great, I'll just always, you know, do medium because, stand heavy punch, because that's the best button I can get. But at further out ranges, this won't work. Either the heavy punch will whiff, or the follow-up meterless or 1-bar combo will whiff, right? See? Too far out. Too far out. Didn't get the full combo. Right? So you have to kind of have a good idea of the spacing. What you can do is this instead. This is a safe button to go for, although the follow-up can miss still at far ranges. Like that, it would have missed, but it's a lot more reliable follow-up. But for spaces where the blitz is going to miss, the heavy punch blitz, you just, if you want to do a bigger combo, you need to spend more, okay? And not that much more, just usually like 1 bar. But I'll show you what's possible. For example, off of light uncharged, you could do, and into the corner, it gives you that, right? If you're not going into the corner, and you won't be able to get the end special, but you can do like something like that, right? That's one way to end it, so you get knockdown pressure. And obviously if you do this, like these combos are the same across, you can obviously go into whatever super you want with this. Level 1 will always work at the end of these combos, regardless of being in the corner or not. So that's one way to end it if you want some damage. Another good and simple way to end these combos is simply into your charged snatcher. Or should I say OD snatcher. Now you see there, because that was far away, I couldn't do... If I'm close, I can do this. Right? That does the most damage. But if I'm further away, you'll see what happens when I try to do this. Whoops, sorry. Messed that up. The follow-up's not going to reach. So if you're further out, best to do something like this, right? Just keep it safe, and yeah. But anyway, let's get into meter spend. The unique thing about crumpling someone with these flickers is it gives you an extra juggle point. And if you drive rush into the combo, although you'll be doing reduced damage because it's a drive rush combo, you actually get increased juggle. For example, you can do that, and you'll see that's 3950 damage. But if I had just done here without the drive rush cancel, you'll see I almost get the same for far less spend, right? And this can be increased in the corner. Whoops, sorry, I messed that up. You can do something like that, right, if you're doing a complete meter dump to kill. And that will also go... You can go into level 1 with that combo as well, if level 1's gonna kill, right? So you can do like... level 1 for ender, right? These are all great ways to dump meter on this combo. But what we should talk about with these combos is that this is very often your best reversal punish if they do something that's very unsafe. As you can see, 20 frames startup on this move, so anything that's minus 20, you'll be able to do this. And I'm just gonna have Ken do a dragon punch so I can demonstrate. Alright. This is your, well, I'll go with the cheapest spend first, right? Something like that, right? That's your kind of no bar punish, which is great damage. You can go into level 3 there, so on and so forth. If you want to spend 2 bars, you can do this. And that ends up being 58% for 2 bars, which is very high. As you can see. And if you want to extend it, you can do, of course, whoopsie, a similar combo to what I already showed. Oops. You have to drive rush. The important part though is you have to drive rush after the crouching heavy kick, because the crouching heavy, sorry, has to be a drive rush normal, because this maintains the juggle limit. If you do it like I did just then, the combo won't work because you use up a juggle point, right? You'll see that does a bit more damage, but this will only do a bit more damage if you very highly spend. If you just do 1 rep, it won't do more damage, right? I'll show you what I mean. See, this does slightly less damage than just spending 2 bars, even though you spent like 5 bars to do it. The reason for this is simply because the drive rush cancel scales the combo more than if you didn't do it. So that's how that works. And in the corner, of course, you can get some big juicy spends off of this. See, this is going to end up doing about 61%, and that's not even with CA. So this is how you can get super big damage for a Dragon Punch punish in the corner. And one quick thing I should mention before I move on to the next thing is that when you're punishing Dragon Punches like this, actually two things I should mention. The first is always use medium flicker. And the reason for this is it does more damage. If I just put Ken back here, this 960 damage, this 1080, right? It does 120 more damage. The other thing that I was going to talk about is some reversals you won't be able to get close enough to get the full combo, so you'll just have to kind of do what you can get. For example, this, as you can see, I'm not close enough to get the full combo there, and it can, I think it is possible with Akuma if you walk forward the right amount, but it's quite strict, it's the best way to put it. See, I got it there because I walked forward as he was recovering, but it's quite strict. If you can't walk forward in time to get the punish, the best thing to do is to just go straight into a special move like this, right? Instead of doing the light upper into light blitz, you just go for a heavy blitz or a heavy upper or whatever. And I'll also talk briefly about Uncharged Air Flicker. If you preemptively do this move, you can sometimes combo off it with a drive rush, but it's very finicky and very specific, and different things will work at different times. So I'll do my best to display some options that are possible, right? And some might even surprise you a little bit. As you can see, you can get target combo like that, which can be weird and finicky, but it works. Another decently reliable button is actually crouching medium punch. As you can see, crouching medium punch can also work sometimes. You can also do stuff like standing medium punch and that, but they don't have very much range. It's very dependent on a lot of things. But mess around with it in training mode, see what you can get. Here I will talk about charged flickers specifically as a combo tool, okay? The first thing that's good to know about these, let me just quickly turn this off, is the first thing that's good to know about charged flickers is that your first charge flicker can always be comboed into another OD flicker, right? So here, oops, let me turn off block real quick, sorry about that. This will always combo like this, and then you can always, you know, here's one thing you can do, this, right? But the thing is, not only will a charge flicker combo into a OD flicker, but an OD flicker combos into an OD flicker as well. As you can see, essentially the same combo, right? So this can be useful for finishing someone off, right? To spend 4 bars, end up getting the kill. If you're going to be spending level 1, here's the optimal route for level 1. That's your optimal damage for level 1, and you'd be surprised how often this is the optimal combo to kill someone. I feel like I do that combo all the time, right? When it comes to meterless routes for a charged flicker, from very far away, if you're not spending a bar, it's usually just best to do a delayed heavy blitz for the knockdown pressure. But you can do this, right? Or even if they're a bit too close, you know. But if they're close enough, you can usually just go into your OD blitz routes, right? That's ideal, right? You'll get a feel for the spacing as you play the character. And charged air snatcher, let's talk about that. Meterless, if you catch someone with this, you can simply do something, oops, that was a bit too slow, like this, right? If you want to spend 1 bar, you can do this. If you want to spend 2 bars, you can do this, right? And these will always work. You don't have to worry too much about how high or low you catch them. They'll usually always work, with very few exceptions. In the corner, you can get juggles that I showed for previous interactions that I will demonstrate. Right? Oops. You could do something like that, for example. This one depends a bit more on the height that you grab them. You just got to make sure you do it at the right time. Another special move I should briefly talk about as a combo starter are Ed's blitz moves. These moves, right? Light blitz, believe it or not, this is actually +5 on counter hit, meaning you can combo off it with your crouching light kick, for example, and go into those routes, right? Now, why would you ever counter hit with this? Why would that happen? One reason is because your jab into light blitz is a frame trap. So if you press 3 jabs, for example, and they try to press a button after that, and you did light blitz, they'll get counter hit and you'll be able to combo off this. Now you have to be careful doing this because light blitz is -5 on block. So if they do block it, they can always punish it. And I mean that legitimately. You can't make this move safe unless they're in burnout. So what you can do essentially is something like this, right? That gets you into your level 2 route. If you want to do a meterless route, of course, you can do that, right? Your usual stuff. Or if you want to go into level 3, oops, without spending meter, you can do that, okay? And you can even obviously, oops, go into a full spend like that if you're going for the kill, right? These are some of the ideas of what you can do off of this counter hit. And I will also briefly talk about OD Blitz as a combo starter. If you can do this as a combo starter into a level 2 combo, it is actually the best damage. And I'm just going to do a basic level 2 combo here, just to show the difference. Here's like a normal level 2 combo. Let's look at the damage, right? That's the day one, right? 4620 damage, right? Here's if you started it with a OD Blitz as a punish. $4835. So it did like 200-ish more damage, right? And this gets especially more noticeable in the bigger combos, which you'll be seeing them in the level 2 section. So keep that in mind. If you can punish with an OD Blitz and go into level 2, that's usually your optimal punish.
Okay, the next move we're going to talk about is Charged Heavy Punch. Pardon me. Oh, also known as Psycho Knuckle, this move, right? And when it comes to meterless and just happening to hit it in neutral, these are the options you have, right? You can go straight into your stand heavy kick routing, which is usually the best idea, right? Or, I mean, you can go into your stand heavy punch stuff as well if you want. If you want to spend a bit of meter and such, right? And of course you can, you know, drive rush off of these. Stuff like this. You know what I mean? You can do all the stuff I've already shown with the other buttons. It's just the primary buttons you're going to be starting your combos from off of this. Stand heavy kick and stand heavy punch. Alright, but the main use of this button I find in combos is actually as a starter after you stun your opponent in the corner, right? This is where you get the most damage out of this button, and it is the most optimal and practical, of course. So if you were going to do a meterless combo, these are all combos we've seen before, but they just start from this, right? Meterless, I would go for something like that, right? for some bar, you can go straight into your, 2-bar spend. And of course you have your 4-bar spend where you need to walk forward a bit to get this. Right, this will be your 4-bar spend. And you'll notice the damage doesn't look that high. That's because they blocked when they got stunned, which is a automatic damage reduction to whatever combo follows. Okay, but yeah, make sure you do a little bit of walking after you stun them, and walk forward, because it builds your drive gauge back, right? Even if it's just a little bit, every little bit counts. But when you do this, make sure you don't accidentally do forward heavy punch like this instead of charge heavy punch, okay? Because that happens sometimes. And make sure you're not too late as well, because this button has a lot of, wind up, and you want to do it fully charged, because that does more damage. But apart from that, there are a couple other things to note about this combo starter. First of all, you can do this. Whoops. Let me try that again. First of all, you can do this. Right? You can psycho knuckle into throw and it combos. And you might be asking, why would I do this? The answer is, if you do this and it's gonna kill, like if you can psycho knuckle into throw off of this, like this, and kill doing this, it is your best super meter build. So, you kill them and you're going into the next round, you'll have more meter if you kill them like this, as opposed to doing anything else you could possibly do in that situation, right? And apart from that, I'm going to show you 2 setups that allow you to actually side swap on this so that you can get into your level 2 combos. And I'm not going to do the actual level 2 combos yet, because there's a couple of them and that'll be in the level 2 section, but I'm just going to show how you can set this up to side switch optimally. And there's 2 things you need to keep track of, or you have to identify, is the better way to put it. If they block and get stunned, or if they get hit and get stunned, because depending on which, the setup is different, okay? So first I have Jamie set to block. He's going to block and get stunned. I'll show you the setup for this. And you see, I'm on the other side, and I can combo off of that. I can do a whole level 2 combo all the way to the other corner, right? It's just as fast as you can, 2 backsways. That's the setup, right? But what if he gets hit, right? Let's put him on get hit. First, I'll show you the same setup and how it doesn't work. There. You see how I stayed in the front? I kind of messed the setup a little bit, but regardless, that's what will happen. Here's what you have to do if you see that they get hit instead of block. And this is easily confirmable if you're looking for it. Yeah, and that'll get you on the other side so you can combo. And I'll just quickly show what I mean by you can still combo, right? See, you can still get into your combos, so on and so forth. Okay, let's talk about DI punishes. When you counter DI someone, what combos can you do? Starting with meterless combos, there's 2 main options that I go for. One is for damage, one is for more corner carry. I'll often take the more corner carry, but they're both useful to know. Alright, that is the more damaging route. And you'll notice that after I DI, I do a kill rush in between the first hit. That is to get more corner carry out of the situation. But it can be a bit finicky. You have to be pretty solid on the execution to not whiff, right? But anyway, here is the version that gives you more corner carry. That is the more corner carry version. That's what I'll usually go for, unless I really want the extra damage. So that's your 2 main meterless spends, I would say.
If you want to spend 1 bar, you can do this. That's a good 1 bar spend, right? If you want to spend 2 bars, I like to do this. Alright, great 2 bar spend, decent corner carry. The knockdown pressure is not the best, but it's really good damage for 2 bars. And if you want to get 3 bars or more, you're generally going to be doing, you know, drive rush stuff. Well, you know, 3 bars you can just do your usual kind of stuff, right? 3 bars you can do this. You know, this stuff. Right? And that does remind me, actually, there is a technically more optimal combo that I didn't show off in the stand heavy punch part, but I'll put it here when it comes to that combo. It's more damage, but I find that I never really use it. That's why I forgot about it. So that will do slightly more damage than the other route with the kill rush break, kill switch break, and the heavy blitz ender. But yeah, the execution's a bit tricky. It's definitely doable, but for the amount of damage you get, I'd rather the corner carry and the, you know, knockdown pressure. Anyway, getting back to spending meter with this, other than that, your drive rush stuff is going to be pretty standard. You know, if you want to do a full spend, you're going to be doing something like that, right? You know, corner stuff applies. All these combos have already been covered in previous sections. Okay, and now we'll talk about DI or wall splats. Now this is one of the most common combos I see people haven't optimized. Even at the highest level, I see people don't do this combo, even though it's the best combo in terms of damage and knockdown pressure, right? If you want to meterlessly punish someone, you do this. Right? That will give you plus 42 knockdown. It's your best damage on top of that. And it's just, you know, what you should be doing meterless. Unless someone knows something I don't. But the combos I see people do, they usually do this. It's something like this, you know, something like that. It's not as good as this combo. So make sure you're doing this one, right? Because the thing is, when they get splattered like this, it puts them in a juggle state that puts them just high enough so you'll always be able to get that light up into light blitz, and then you've got your safe jump and everything. And if you want to spend a bit more bar, you can just do this. Again, same situation, plus 42, you get your safe jump. And yeah, those are the two. Even when you splat them high in the wall, these are usually your go-to combos. The only difference with very high splats is you can start doing a lot of, you know, drive rush heavy punch stuff like this. You know, what you've seen in other sections of this video. Okay, level 2 combos. This is going to be a big section, right? I'm going to start off with the easier combos, the day 1 combos. But before I get into them, there's a little thing about them that a lot of people don't know. But here's a spoiler. I'm going to do the same combo twice in a row here. And I want you to just pay attention to the damage, okay? Alright. 4, 5, 8, 0. Let's do it again. 4595, 15 damage increase, even though I did the same combo. Why is that? The answer is, if you let them bounce on the ball for a bit longer after the first upper, you get slightly more damage. And it's not hard to do, so it's worth doing this optimization, right? So I'll tell you exactly what I'm talking about. You do this, you do the upper, and here. You let them bounce about twice. Look, that did even more damage, like 40 more damage total, right? You let them bounce for as much as you can get away with before you do the forward heavy punch, and then you continue to combo, okay? You get slightly more damage for letting them bounce a bit longer. Okay, now let's talk about the basic level 2 combos, which, like I said, still have a lot of optimal use. Mid-screen, I like to do this for the corner carry. Right, I think that's your best corner carry without sacrificing much at all. If you're kind of getting them into the corner, you'll need to do a upper as your ender. Like this, where you can't reach, right? That's generally your best route. But if you're hitting them well into the corner, and you get the right height on your kill rush, it's best to do something like this. Okay, this will give you great damage. It gives you plus 42, which is your safe jump. So you want to be going for that if you get the corner like that. But the kill rush chaser, which is, you know, the delayed kill rush upper kind of move from your kill rush, you need to hit it pretty early so that they get enough height to get hit by the light spark into light blitz. Here's another very useful combo for burning your opponent out, right? And I'll have to actually say exactly what I'm pressing here because it can be hard to see. What I'm pressing after the blitz is I'm pressing standing light kick, this button, into standing heavy punch, into DI. And these are all immediate presses. There's no delay, right? And it can get tricky to get used to this combo, but here it is. And I messed it up already because you want to do you want to cancel this early so that they don't get lifted off the ground, okay? And that's how you can really waste a lot of their drive bar and potentially burn them out while doing a pretty good combo still, right? The reason that combo is so tight is because you need to DI them on the exact frame before they get launched, but when the ball ends, otherwise it's not going to work. Okay, and here's another simple combo for this really finicky range where it can be difficult to know exactly what combo to do. Because if you do your usual, right, they're going to bounce over the ball, it's not going to work here. And if you want to do your corner combo, which I'll be getting into soon, you're also going to have trouble here. See, my up is going to whiff, right? This range is really finicky. Here's an easy combo you can do to kind of optimize this range and get the most out of it. Right, you can do like that. You can do a heavy blitz ender, which is probably better at damage actually, now that I think about it. But yeah, that's generally the routing you're going to go off of this combo. Alright, when it comes to corner level 2 combos, I really enjoy these combos. So here's the basic, you know, no spend after the OD blitz combo. Right? That's your kind of, you know, basic version of it, right? And you can do this into level 1 as well. Which is very nice damage. Now, if you want a full spend on this combo, it gets a bit different. Let me show you. Right? That's your like maximum spend, and it'll depend how much drive you have left. But one thing to note about this combo, which I'll just show now, is getting that extra stand heavy kick, like the third stand heavy, the extra stand medium punch. It only adds like 6 damage, which is like virtually never going to make a difference, right? So you can make the combo a bit easier on yourself just by doing the stand heavy kicks, like so. Right? You can just do it like that for like, look, 3 damage difference, I think it was. So yeah, that's slightly easier for no real loss. Okay, and here, while this is technically not a combo, I'm going to show you the best gapless chip damage you can do to someone that is in burnout. And by gapless, I mean there's nothing they can do about it. There's nowhere they can even attempt to do a super, so on and so forth, okay? Anyway, here it is. Okay, that is your best gapless pressure, right? And you'll notice that I was doing crouching medium kicks. You can just do a stand medium punch in those situations if it's easier for you. The reason I do crouching medium kicks is because it is, you know, still a medium, but if they happen to try walk out of these situations, they'll just get straight up hit. So it's just a little bit of extra possibility of opening them up. Because if they do get hit, you're doing way more damage, you know, just on hit. So that's your best chip sequence that I'm aware of anyway. Okay, these combos, I'm going to start it off as a DI punish because it works very well off of counter DIs, and that's the most common situation you'll get this combo off of. But there are a couple other situations you can convert into this combo. Now these are all auto-timed, so all you need to do is just do everything as you see it, okay? Alright, for at the very start, the forward dash I do before the stand heavy punch, it's just for timing and a tiny bit extra corner carry, which isn't even necessary. But you want to wait until they are on their knees, basically. Like this, right? You can't, if you do it straight away, the combo is not going to work. It's going to be a different combo round, which isn't necessarily bad. But yeah, these combos are easy and very useful. So I like to forward dash here to get this. And the thing with this combo is you can also end it in level 1. And it ended, as you saw, with that medium blitz, which is actually a safe jump, plus 42. So anyway, here's the level 1 ender. That's how you can end it in level 1. Now, as I said, there's other ways to get to this, more than I'm even going to really be able to show, but I'll show you the main ones that I like and I find pretty usable, right? One is off of a reversal punish with your medium flicker starter, which is obviously your optimal starter, right? You can do this. Right, it can be finicky. You won't be able to get this off every reversal because you need to have very close spacing to get the combo, otherwise it won't work. But it is possible and it does a lot of damage, and it's an easy combo to do once you practice it because it's all auto-timed. And I talked about this briefly in the charged Psycho Knuckle section, but you can actually get these combos as stun combos by doing specific setups. This is what you have to do if you stun them and they blocked the DI that stunned them, alright? Alright, and you'll notice I did a crouching heavy kick in that combo instead of the heavy punch. This was to make it more consistent that I would get that medium blitz at the end, because otherwise you can sometimes not get enough distance to get that medium blitz. And secondly, if they actually get hit by the DI and not blocked, you actually have to do a different setup to get this side swap consistently, which I'm going to show here. That is the version of it where you need to identify that they got hit instead of blocking the DI and adjust accordingly, which is you have a lot of time to like mentally register this. One final note on these combos is that they will work differently on big body characters, but you have different options, alright? Firstly, who are the big body characters? Let's go over that real quick. Marissa. Not JP, believe it or not. JP is not a big body character. Honda. Blanca is. You'd think maybe he isn't. He is. And I believe that's all other than Zangief, of course. Bison is not. Anyway, here's the main combo route I go for against big body characters when it comes to these level 2 combos. Right, pretty simple, effective, good damage. That's what I recommend. Okay, now we get into what I consider the real standard, or like the heart of level 2 combos for Ed. And that those are the the dream combos. I'm sure you've seen the Momochi combos. And the core, most fundamental part of these combos is doing a delayed heavy blitz after your OD blitz into level 2 so that you hit them into the backside of the ball and you're able to do big combos off of that. So let me show as an example. I'll probably show some examples of it failing and examples of it working. See? That worked, right? As you saw, I hit him into the back of the ball. I'll deliberately fail it here. That didn't work, he landed on top of the ball, alright? And what I should do first is explain how to do this reliably. The first things you need to know about this is you can do it, first of all. With enough practice, you can do it, I promise you. You don't have to be especially good at anything to do this. You just need mindfulness, practice, and you need to know what to do. The second thing is it's a 2-frame window. I think it's like a 7 or 8 frame delay. I think it'll work on both of those timings if you're looking at the bar. But the best tip for hitting these to begin with, I don't use this anymore because I've got used to the timing. But the best tip to learn the timing of when you're supposed to be doing the heavy blitz is after you do the level 2, just hold the down input and it will show you when you're supposed to press it. Let me try explain what I mean. Watch Ed. You're always watching Ed because Ed will always be the same, right? I'm holding down. As soon as Ed starts to crouch like that, that is the timing for when you need to input your heavy blitz. And yeah, that's how you can visually see the timing. And I'll try to do it now, actually doing it so you can see what it'll look like successfully. See, that was too late. He ducked too much which means I did the input too late. You want to press it just as he's ducking, which you can't really visually react to it, but when you practice this and you look at it so much, it'll let you know exactly if you were too late, if you were too quick, or if you were just on time, and it'll help you learn to do this a lot easier. You see that? That worked. You see how I saw him just duck a tiny little bit, and then I did the blitz, right? I didn't react to seeing him duck, I just knew the timing. But that let me know that I did it correctly, right? And if you're too early, he won't duck at all, right? I'm holding down. You see, he didn't duck at all because I was too early, and that's how I know I was too early. I didn't see him duck at all. But once you get really used to it, as I am, I stopped using this because I'm used to seeing Ed's recovery animation of his level 2, where he kind of like waves his hands around a little bit, and I know when it's going to end, so I know my timing, right? You'll see the animation, he kind of like, look, he kind of like jives a little bit. I should have cancelled it, but yeah. He'll do a bit of a jive, and then, you know, you can cancel it with a crouch or into your button. This is the core fundamental aspect of these combos, and if you can get this delayed heavy blitz down, there are so many great and easy combos you can do to follow up, as well as some very hard ones, which I'll be getting into, all the ones I think are relevant and optimal. Okay, this is what I consider the easy level 2 combo, and you'll see this is like a tournament combo. You'll see almost every Ed do this combo frequently, if not every time, in these situations, just because while the initial blitz execution can be tricky, the rest of the combo is pretty easy. The main thing you need to know for this, for the rest of the combo that is in the delayed heavy blitz, is the first upper is slightly delayed. The way I like to delay it is I like to listen for the ball to hit them twice, the sound effect of them being hit twice, and then I do my first upper, okay? That's the best way I can describe the timing. Anyway, let's get into it. That will give you all your knockdown pressure, always goes corner to corner. Amazing combo, gives you like 3/4 of a super bar. So really the level 2 only costs you like 1.25 bars, I should say. Yeah, but you can also do this combo and end in level 1 if it's going to kill them or burn them out or what have you, like so. This is for more damage if you're going to kill them, if you're going to want to burn them out, etc. Alright, the next combo, which is, I would consider this like pretty much the original combo, is a bit more tricky execution wise, but it'll give you more damage. And this is how it goes. Right. That's the full damage version, as you see, very high damage. There's a couple tricks to this, right? The first one, it's all the usual stuff. When it comes to the first upper, you still need to do it delayed, like the previous combo, but it's like slightly less delayed. And then on the second upper, which is immediately after, you have to kind of micro walk it a little bit. But you can sometimes micro walk it too much and it'll mess the combo up, or not at all and it'll mess the combo up. And there's two ways to micro walk it. The first one is the obvious, like after the first upper you just walk forward the slightest bit and then upper. But the second way is you put that micro walk onto the end of your input. And what do I mean by that? You don't move, you input your DP, and when you input your second upper, you hold forward and you, like for a couple frames, and then you press the heavy punch and it'll move you forward a bit. But this can often move you too far forward. So it's just about finding what works for you, right? But also this combo if you don't do the level 1, you don't have like an extra ender, but you can get very good corner knockdown pressure, which I'll show now. This combo, as you can see with the ender, you're like plus 47 after the kill rush in that. If you micro walk forward a few frames, you can kind of go for a fake-ish safe jump or maybe get really lucky and hit the perfect timing. You don't have to jump there. You can just, you know, kill rush forward and then forward dash or whatever. But that's how that combo goes without spending level 1. Okay, and for this combo, this is a newer combo that's pretty cool. It's pretty spacing specific is the best I could put it. You want them to be around mid-screen. As you can see, I'm in training mode. This line down the middle is the middle of the stage. It's going to work from like here, which is where I'm going to do it from. But if they're like here or here, it's probably not going to work, right? But this is a very useful and great combo to get the most out of in situations where the usual blitz route doesn't have enough range to get every hit. Alright, that's like pretty much your optimal damage from that range. But like I said, if you're too close, you have to gauge it really well. Otherwise, the ball won't be there for them to hit into for that last part, so you can juggle into the kill rush. One thing to note is all the combos I just showed then, those last 3 or so combos, will not work against big-bodied characters. Big-bodied characters have their own combos you need to do. As I already went over which are considered big body, but I'll do it again very briefly. Marissa, not JP, so no JP, Honda, Blanca, Zangief, and not Bison, okay? So anyway, the good news is you can do combos that are essentially just as good, and the big body combos are often easier execution. So let me get into it. First, we'll go back to that, we'll go into the easy version of these combos here on big body, and it goes like this. As you can see, it's essentially the same as the regular body easy combo. The main difference is when they first bounce off the when they first bounce off the ball, they'll only bounce once, and instead of delaying your first upper, you just do your first upper immediately, which is a lot easier. So the whole combo is essentially auto times. And if you want a harder but more rewarding version that is similar to the harder but more rewarding version of the normal body ones, you can do this. Right, same rules apply for the enders as the hard version of the normal one. With this, the main difference again is the first upper is auto timed, you just do it as soon as you can, but the second one follows the same rules as the second upper of the normal body combo, where you need to micro walk it a bit, but I do find this one a bit easier. And finally, I'll show what I consider the hardest combos Ed has. It's one combo in specific, but it's more so the starter. It is a delayed heavy blitz combo, but it's done in a way that the first hit will only bounce one time, right? Now I'm going to try get this going for the first part, and then once I show you how that part works, I'm going to just show you a video I've kind of mashed together of the full combo, right? Because I use save states to do it, as it's not a combo I've practiced, and I think it takes a lot of practice. Anyway, let's try get this single bounce. There it is. You see how Ryu only bounced once off the ball? This opens up even bigger combo potential, but the execution is quite difficult. How do you get this? the answer is when you input your heavy blitz like this, this is your heavy blitz input, as you can see on the input reader there, right? As soon as you input your heavy blitz, you immediately hold forward, and it'll slightly micro walk you forward, and then you immediately hold forward and then press stand heavy punch very quickly. And this is all done within a few frames. It's very specific. But this, it will make your heavy blitz move slightly forward, and it'll cause that weird bounce. So that's the hardest part of the execution barrier. And now I will transition to the video I made to explain the rest of the combo. Okay, here's the video I've put together, right? You'll be able to see the obvious cuts because I use save states to get from different parts of the combo. But this is what the combo looks like. Just imagine the cuts aren't there, right? Right, it's quite a difficult combo, I think. Not even just the blitz, but I'll explain it piece by piece, okay? Yeah, I believe, I could be wrong in this, but as you know, this is where you cancel into level 2, right? I think I heard Momochi talking about this, but obviously I don't speak Japanese, but he was stuck on this part of the combo explaining something to someone. I think you can delay your cancel here slightly, so don't do it as soon as possible on this. You kind of delay it till the last moment. I think it makes the rest of the execution a bit easier. Right, so you get into the level 2 here. As you can see, because of my input, you can see it moves slightly forward when he becomes able to. See that little slide there? And then that goes, it's such a tiny micro walk, which is what makes it so difficult. That goes into the heavy blitz here, which gets a single bounce. Then it goes immediate upper. And then it's much like the hard combos that I talked about before, it's a micro walk upper again. Forward dash, it's immediate forward dash into immediate forward heavy punch, into another upper, into forward dash once, forward dash twice, which pushes them into the ball, another upper, right? And as you can see, big damage. So yeah, that's how you do that combo. But when you practice it, you'll find it's very finicky, and the timings, you need to really hone in on what's making the combo not work for you. And finally, one thing I forgot to put earlier in the video, but I'll put it in here. It's a pretty unique situation. Again, that takes a lot of kind of just playing the character a lot to know what's optimal from this situation. But doing your spark, just this, not the follow-up fireball, you can actually get combos of this in certain situations that are more common than you'd think. For example, let's have Ryu do this, right? And let's put him here. You can get combos. Sometimes people accidentally drive rush into your spark, right? What can you get off this? You will always be able to get a crouching light punch if it's in range, because spark is +5 on counter hit at worst, but you can actually get way more than this. Let me just have Ryu not do anything just so you get an idea of what I'm talking about. Right? Okay. Look, that comboed, right? Because he got counter hit by my spark. My spark was in its later frames, so it was way more plus. And I got a combo like that, right? This combos, right? And you can go into those rounds. But the thing with using this is they could be crouching. They could have pressed the crouch button, in which case it'll whiff. So this, although one frame slower, is usually a better option. And as I said, as you play this character, you'll get a feel for what's going to work when. If you're really close, you know, this is only going to be like that. That's the most I'm getting off that one. Because my spark started so late, only going to get a +5, right? As you can see, it didn't work. But if you see your spark hit on the really late frames, you're able to get a lot more. So play around with that. Whenever you see it happen in neutral when you're playing, try your best to convert off of it in the moment, and you'll build up those skills to be able to get the most optimal conversions possible. When making this video, I realized there was one very important combo routing tool that I completely forgot to talk about, so I'm going to put it here, alright? And that is, of course, comboing of your light upper anti-air, right? I usually, well, pretty commonly, you won't get a chance to do this when you react. You know, nothing's going to really combo off that. But the earlier you are, the bigger combos you can get off this. And you can get some pretty extensive stuff. That will be your most common ender when you get a chance to combo, right? And you can even do that into level 3, like so. Right? It's pretty scaled, but it's definitely worth it if, you know, you're going to kill with it or burnout or whatever. Another thing you can do, and this requires you to hit the upper very deep, is actually into another upper, which is slightly actually more comboable than your light blitz, but because of the spacing, you won't get it too often. Like that. But like I said, won't happen very often. But you can learn to be able to see that you'll be able to do this. But anyway, if you're super early, you can get even bigger combos than this. Like that, for example. You can get that. Oof, you need to be really early for this. Like, you can get that. You can even get your... like that, right? And for reference, this is 11 frame startup, as you can see. So keep that in mind for when you're trying to combo into your supers, because they are both faster than this, right? Well, level 1 isn't, so we'll go there first, right? 13 frames. If you do a combo where this is going to work, it's the same startup. Right? So that will work like that. When it comes to level 2, your level 2 is actually 8 frames. And for the record, when it comes to special into special with this is 10 frames into another 10 frames. So you can actually hit level 2 off your anti-air really easy and get a pretty decent combo as well. And it goes like this. Right? You can do something like that. And like I said, this move is 10 frames, this is 11. You can get just straight into level 3 if you would like this. And that will combo as well. Very scaled, but it'll combo. So those are your main options of a light upper anti-air. Alright, that's the video. Definitely the biggest video I've ever made. I'm not looking forward to editing it, but as you're watching this, I've already obviously edited it. If you need help with anything, feel free to ask in the comments. If you think you know some more optimal, useful combos for whatever reason, also feel free to tell me in the comments what they are. And maybe I'll add them if I think they're, you know, worth adding. But even if they're not, that's cool. I'd still rather hear a million people tell me about, you know, combos that I might not think are worth using, if it means there's a chance that someone comes in and it's like, oh, actually, here's this combo you didn't know about. That's super good, because I'm, you know, everyone's a learner, even at the highest level, which I'm not at, but you get my point, right? There's always things to learn, and I always want to learn. So feel free to drop a line about that in the comments as well. And yeah, otherwise, you can follow me on Twitter and all that. and thanks for watching.